Museveni understands that this protest is not necessarily a protest against Parliament, because corruption is not only in Parliament. Mr. Museveni himself is in power because of corruption, having bribed the MPs on 2 occasions to remove term limit and to remove age limit, 2005 and 2017. But he has also seen what has happened in Kenya. In Kenya, the protest started because citizens, especially younger people, did not want the finance bill passed because it was introducing many taxes. From the finance bill that eventually the president refused to assent to, now the protesters said, no, we now want you, Ruto must go. So Museveni understands that this protest may start around Parliament, but since he knows it's the problem of Uganda, that's eventually where it will end. So Parliament, I think, is just to spark off protests, eventually to deal with the real problem affecting Uganda. And that's why Ruto, in his own narrow thinking, he thought when you don't sign the finance bill in Turo, when you dissolve your own cabinet, matters will end. They are saying, actually, Ruto, you must go yourself. Even in Uganda, and I hope this protest will happen, they will eventually end with Museveni because Museveni is the problem. Museveni amanyi bulungi nti bano abaana abaagala okwekalakaasa ekizibu kyabwe si Parliament, ekizibu kyabwe obubbi bw'essente y'omusolo, ate nga Museveni yabukulembedde. Museveni ssente zaawa abantu mu budget, katwakamala okuyisa wano budget yawadde Magoola bw'ogatta wamu biliyoni 7, yakawa Mino Watyaka biliyoni 5, yakawa Professor Mulanga mbwagenda kutandika kutunda amatooke ng'agakozeemu obuwunga biliyoni 12. Uganda eri mu kusasula Democratic Republic of Congo 1.2 trillion olw'olutalo olwalwanibwayo basali musalaabo ne banyagayo gold ne timba. So Museveni amanyi bulungi nti abaana bano bw'obakkiriza okwekalakaasa bakozesa Parliament n'enze gwe banona, kubanga muliraanwa abo ate nga mukwano gwe Ruto yalowooza nti okwekalakaasa e Kenya kuli kuteeka eriteekawo emisolo, n'agaasirijja lisayininga abantu ne beeyongera okwekalakaasa n'agoba kabineti. Kakati yasigalawo ataneegoba namugamba nti naawe weegobe protest zijja okukoma. Kati Museveni akitegeera bulungi nti ekizibu kya Uganda. Parliament abantu bajja kujja beekalakaase naye eventually bajja kunoonya ekizibu gye kiri ate ng'amanyi ekizibu.
I'm called Musila John from the east of the country, Buburo, East County in Namisindwa District, Bugisu region. Now, your questions are very pertinent and at this particular moment, to the extent that if I were parliamentary administrator, I wouldn't have a session tomorrow. Actually, management of parliament, administration of parliament should rethink to avoid the situations, to avoid the circumstances. That's number one. Number two, the youth have a right according to our constitution to demonstrate. But suppose it degenerates into a riot. We don't have the law that Ugandans are supposed to riot. No. Thirdly, you should know that what the youth of Uganda, given all levels of where they can air out whatever they want to air, including demonstration, which is their liberty and freedom, they can also simply degenerate into a riot which will infringe on the rights of other citizens. The president was categorically right when he spoke about this. And two, to me, my only thinking, this is not in good faith because it is simply contagious from the other neighboring state. It's contagious about the Gen Zs and whatever the case, which is not right. But otherwise, demonstration, I support. The issues they may have about corruption, all of us are out. By the way, people will flash us as corrupt as parliament, all of us. Not all of us. I was among the first to sign the censure motion as against the commissioners. You see? And many of us have done so. There is also a fight against corruption. You see? So to me, my advice to our youth, given the channels they have, they should complain. And they are right. And nobody should block them from complaining. But you can't only complain through demonstrations, through possibly avenues which can easily degenerate into rioting. They could have a genuine reason or reasons, and they could have a genuine mind come out to demonstrate. Suppose the goons overtook them. Suppose the lumpens came up to destroy what we saw in Kenya, including even the Uganda House, by the way, getting destroyed. So to me, I stand with the youth for any reasons they have. But for demonstrating to Parliament, we may not help much. As Parliament, even if it is against us, yes, it is against a few of us, not all of us. A few of us, a handful actually, just a handful of us. So why should others be punished for sins of those who are killing? You see that? The Parliament of Uganda is for you Ugandans. The property of Uganda is for you younger people. We want to appeal that clean yourselves and get to the lane that this is your country. The Parliament of Uganda, I was not here when it started. I was born 3 years after independence. And today I'm here. And you will be here as well. You will be at district level. I started as a chairman of the district. And like that. The avenues and the channels of the youth in Uganda are all over. If you check Parliament today, most parliamentarians are below 50 years of age. Actually, it's a very youthful parliament in East Africa. We have youth within Parliament. We have also youth at district level, even at sub-county level. All these levels can be used, including even the parallel channels like the youth councils and whatever. And their voice shouldn't be muzzled. We don't like that the voice of the youth, the 70% population of this country by our demographies, should be muzzled. No, I cannot support that. But I wish to say you should be able to desist from anything which can degenerate into destruction of property or even lives. Or I see a lot of deployment around in readiness for such circumstances, because the youth chose 23rd, having known that Parliament would resume sessions on 23rd. But I want to advise Parliament again, a clarion call. We would avoid, and we can avoid confrontations. Why can't we push the recess 1 week later until the situation cools down, until we hear from the youth? And those responsible, especially the executive, yes, this clarion call is good to you. The youth voice must be heard, and they should. And this is the time between maybe 1 week or 2 weeks. Let us talk to them like the president did. You can't really leave everything to the president alone. Let us engage them. Let us nip them before any explosions come up. It's not good to go for confrontations when there is an avenue of having conscious debates and conscious discussions and conscious conversations.
Thank you so much. My name is Gilbert Olanya, the Member of Parliament of Kilak South in Amuru District. I heard the directives given by the President that tomorrow's demonstration should be put on hold, yet it is the President who is emphasizing seriously that the corrupt people must be reprimanded. And we thank him so much for that. Now that if the youth of this country, Ugandans, they wanted to support him to join his struggle in the fight against corruption, why should we stop the demonstration for tomorrow? Therefore, the President should stop playing double standards. From one side, he is condemning corruption. Now MPs are arrested. The PS is inside the prison. And the youth wanted to come together and join him in the support in the fight against corruption. Why is he stopping them? So I have seen massive deployment today along the road. The military police are moving everywhere. So we really don't know what is going on. So please, I call upon His Excellency to allow people to go on with their peaceful demonstration, so long as it is peaceful. And more so, they are talking of marching peacefully to the Parliament of Uganda. So let them come. If they want to meet the Speaker, let them come, they meet the Speaker, they interact with the Speaker, they tell the Speaker what they want to say, and they go back. But stopping them and maybe tear gassing them revenging on them very heavily is not good for the country at all. Let us all fight together. We join hand in the fight against corruption. That is, right now I can say that the president is trying to interfere with the planned move. There are well-organized people who have organized this peaceful demonstration, and the president is trying to disorganize their movement. This is an indication that the president does not have any goodwill in the fight against corruption. Because if you are really interested in fighting against corruption, you would buy the idea of General Tafire. I remember General Tafire put it clearly that let the youth rise up, show their displeasure about the corrupt people. So let the president, the youth, the executives, the members of parliament, all of us should combine together and make sure corruption is eradicated in this country. When a demonstration is properly managed, controlled by the police, it will never turn into a riot. What normally makes it turn into a riot is when police becomes rowdy, soldiers start firing tear gas indiscriminately, maybe shooting someone. That is how it may turn into a riot. And I call upon the police of Uganda and the military, so long as there's peaceful demonstration, what you can do best is to provide guidance for the youth to move on peacefully. The moment you are not tear gassing, you are not firing bullets, you are not beating anybody, it will never turn into riot. All these kind of demonstrations that turn into riot, they were all caused by the army officers, by the military. They're the one who comes, they start disorganizing people, and automatically people become annoyed. And they start throwing stones, kicking somebody, and destroying other things. So please, I don't think if anybody has a plan of destroying anybody's property, I don't think if any of the demonstrators has a plan of stepping onto somebody's goods along the roadside. No, but they all plan for a peaceful demonstration. And let us allow them to express their displeasure. So I pray that those who are coming to demonstrate to Parliament, I pray that they don't come with the ill intention on comparing Ugandan Parliament with Kenyan's Parliament. You know what happened in Kenya? They destroyed the Parliament of Kenya. So I pray that those demonstrators should not have that same mentality, that they are coming to cause destruction onto the Parliament of Uganda. And the moment they have that mentality of coming to destroy the Parliament of Uganda, that is where they may get it very rough. And as members of Parliament, we don't buy that idea. What belongs to Ugandans must be protected by all Ugandans. So when they are coming to petition the Speaker, when they are coming to present their grievances to the Speaker, there we welcome. But anybody coming with a destructive mind, we don't buy that idea. I see no problem at all. Parliament can resume tomorrow normally because there's no problem at all. And there's nothing to fear. And many of the technical staff were calling members of Parliament that they may not turn up for the work tomorrow. Please, just continue with their normal duty. We see no problem at all. Many of the problems that are caused during demonstrations are being caused by the police officers and the military officers. But none of the youth really plans to come and destroy Parliament. So please, tomorrow Parliament should continue, the technocrats should continue working, everyone should continue moving on as normal as possible. There's no much cost.
And so when youth decide that they should demonstrate, at least it is already a known fact. So there is no need to stop them. Instead, to guide them to have a very peaceful demonstration. Right now, the deployment is too heavy in the city, very, very heavy. I came from Gulu, arrived early this morning, and I've seen the deployment shows that militarism is actually taking center stage in our governance, which is not right. So instead, we need to talk to the youth. We have to listen, give listening ears to them, because even this corruption is bad. it eats up the fabric of this country. The economy will never go up, and livelihood is very hard for people. Poverty is biting. So something has to be done about the corrupt tendencies. We need to channel our public resources carefully, and we have to allow systems to work. If systems don't work, then the country can easily go to a failed state, because 39 years down the road, we cannot continue the way we are moving now. Poverty is biting. People cannot meet their basic needs of life. One of the basic needs is education, is also a basic need. So you find that it is completely impossible for some other people. Dropout of our children in school is not just about not willing to study, but it's about resources not being there to keep them in schools. And even malnourishment is there. So it shows that something is wrong in the country. We need to give listening ears to the young people. Since this is a young country, the population of the young people is a lot more than the population of the adults, the elderly. If it is properly guided, but if they put this kind of deployment, of course, our country, you know, the president is a military man, but Kenya, Ruto is not a military man. So the young people also have to be careful, because this is a military, almost a military regime. My prayer is they should not kill these young people. The young people just want to show their cause for this country. You know, this country is for all of us. And this country, the resources that we have in the country is enough for all of us, if we were channeling everything properly. This is what I can say. Corruption is the order of the day. Let them cut their affinity for public resources. Public resources have to be taken through the right channel. And whoever gets involved in misappropriating public resources should be questioned, should be made accountable. Accountability is possible if systems work, but if systems don't work, then it becomes impossible. If systems don't work, where sometimes even, you know, nepotism is the order of the day, things become very difficult. So let us keep on pushing for the right thing. The youth are actually pushing for the right thing. They are right, and we should allow them. We should guide them. We should not completely stop them. We should guide them, appeal to them to be peaceful, let them hold their placards well to send their messages, but not to loot. Looting is sometimes, when they go rowdy, sometimes it's very bad. It spoils everything. But if they are peaceful, and these people with guns, the guns should be for protection of lives, not for killing people. This is what I can appeal. Let the youth demonstrate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable.
Very much. I'm Isaac Otimgiu, the Member of Parliament for Padiere County, Nebi District. I think it's a bit unfortunate, and I think the President has been misadvised by some of the corrupt elements around him to intervene and stop the march. I think the youth have been actually misjudged in terms of anticipation, because the protests which happened in Kenya is totally different from the protest which was going to take place in Uganda. Actually, it's not a protest, it's a march. One is, the one in Kenya, for example, it was mainly due to the fact that the leaders did not listen to their people for the finance bill. But in Uganda, the march which was going to take place tomorrow is in line with actually the government program. It is in line with the president's decision. They're actually in the same page with the president. They are just coming in to support what the president is doing. Because the president has already heard of their cry, and the president has already taken action, and is still taking action through arrests, which has been ongoing. So there was no problem whatsoever. They are not actually marching against the president or against the government. So they were actually on the same page. So it is actually a bit sad and unfortunate that the president has been misadvised to step in and stop the protests. I think the youth only requested for one day. The one day they requested for should have been given to them, and they have actually been given very clear guidelines, and they have been very cooperative with the police as per the social media updates that we have been seeing. So I think it was not right to stop them. They should have given them their one day to come in and actually do what they have to do, and I'm sure it would have been a very peaceful one. But because if we do not listen to them or give them that space to show or to intervene, show their anger, then they'll take it to the ballot papers in 2026, and there nobody can stop them. Even the president cannot intervene in the ballot paper in 2026. And the MK movement has actually done a very great deal to make sure that the youth come in towards NRM. But I'm afraid that the step that we are taking now is going to push them far away from us, and they will end up falling in the wrong elements of people like Noop. No, I think the intervention that we are taking, the government is taking, is what is going to cause this thing to actually turn into something that it was not. From all the build-up, it actually showed that the march to Parliament was going to be a very peaceful march, a very peaceful protest. So I think the deployment and all this kind of thing is just going to exaggerate the march to turn it into something which was not the cause of it. And I don't think it was actually a political march. And it is actually very wrong if other political parties like NUP are trying to seize on this matter. It is actually very wrong. So if the other political parties like NUP are trying to take over this matter and turn it into their own march, then yes, the deployment may come in. But I don't think that the aim of the march to Parliament youth protests was anything to do with political. It wasn't. It was a peaceful one, and they have shown it to be a peaceful one. And all their updates, if you follow it online, you'll find that actually they were trying to follow guidelines which are actually not in any way going to cause harm to the public. Yeah.